person, and she's going to introduce our speaker tonight. And she's our chairperson as well at our GNA event and outgrowth. So please give it up for Tony Chairman.
I'm very lucky to introduce Jim. I've known Jim now for how long? How long has it been?
Probably for about a year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half. He's awesome. He's incredible. Jim Chong is a speaker, writer, and financial solutions professional. He also is on the executive team for 2 ethnic chambers and is in charge of collaborative partnerships of Elias a nonprofit focusing on stroke awareness and prevention, and as well as brain injury. He is the founder of Solutions for Life, which I also am involved with, and is an incredible organization. Collaborative resource for healthcare, welfare, and self-care. So give it up, please, for Jim Chong.
Okay, one thing I wanted to do real quick is you have a newspaper that's coming around. Oh, yeah. All right. A couple things. And then one thing I want to do is, first off, really recognize some people that came a little bit of a distance. How many of you live in Elk Grove or near here? All right, give yourselves a big round of applause. Now, how many of you have come from Stockton or beyond? Raise your hand. All right, very awesome. This whole row here, let's give yourselves a big round of applause. And I want to see how many of you have come all the way as far as Redwood City.
Oh, that would be me, Jim. Oh, gee, thanks, Jim. Jeez.
One thing I have to say, first off, if I can just get a time of 10, 5, 10 and 5 minutes. So
okay.
How long do I have roughly?
Yeah, up to 45 minutes. So
awesome.
I got the clock on you.
All right, so we'll take probably a couple hours, but that'll be okay. No, but in all sincerity, how many of you have ever tried to put together a group of like 20 or more people? Raise your hand. Okay, how much effort is it, Michael? It's a lot of work, right? And we've talked about this. Let me ask, with the GNA, how many groups do you have, Elias?
We have 7 now.
They have 7 groups, and I would say most of them about this size. Is that about right? Or a little bit, maybe half or a little bit larger, right? Sacramento being the largest. But I have to tell you, somebody that has a heart to be able to really build a group in 7 locations, all the way from Redwood City, I can't believe it. He's crazy. I really think he is.
That's for darn sure.
But the whole thing is that there's one thing about talking about giving. It's another thing about actually giving. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
And I will tell you, as I talk to Elias, I'm kind of very careful about a lot of the networking groups I get involved with now. And we have this talk only because, there's a lot of networking groups out there. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
There is. And I will tell you, for somebody to really put together a group where I feel like there's a true collaboration being built, I feel like his heart is completely in there, really giving to the people. Don't you agree?
Yes.
And, he really doesn't talk a whole lot about his business. But I have to respect somebody that really has 7 locations and builds a group this size, all 7 locations. So let's give it up for Elias.
Thank you, Jim.
Let's give him a standing ovation. Let's give it up for Elias.
I'll still run the camera. Thank you. Thanks for putting me on the spot today.
All right, awesome. All right, now, one thing I wanted to recognize, that because I know he has a lot of great leadership right here, but I can definitely respect the fact that somebody takes a lot of his time to come here and really build an organization of this size. And it takes a lot of selflessness. And so I really appreciate that. The other thing I want to do was just have you pick up the paper here, okay? And in page 8, I just want to get this out of the way. Page 8, we actually have a page dedicated to Solutions for Life, all right? And let me tell you, we deal primarily in healthcare, welfare, and self-care, but sometimes we talk about community care. And how many of you know Jane Taft? She spoke at your last event. All right, she's actually part of Solutions for Life, part of our speaker circuit in S4L, where we actually train speakers as well. But she's done an incredible job as well. She's actually speaking at another women's mastery event tonight. But I wanted to just let you know, really, this paper is about community. And if you have something great to share, like Tanae, and if you really understand, she really has a great strategy for a nonprofit benefit with a for-profit status. Is that pretty incredible? And it's called, what is it called?
Business philanthropy.
Business philanthropy, and that specific code is L3C, right?
Yep, L3C structure.
And it is a for-profit organization with a non-profit benefit. Doesn't that sound pretty amazing? And it's only available in some specific states. But I want to recognize that because this is very key. But if you have something of value, I really want to have you write it here. You do have to be qualified, because our whole tenet is really to be able to create a great solution resource for the community. Does that make sense? Now, if we go back to page 6, you just flip back one page. I wanted to go ahead, actually, not page 6, page 4 and 5. We see on page 4 an article for the Caregiver Symposium. This is what Mary Nichols is all about. How many of you know somebody that have been affected by some major life situation, a brain situation, or a stroke situation? Raise your hand. Okay, we believe that this affects everybody to some degree or another, right? And the whole thing is really understanding this. We need your help to get this message out.
And that's for all caregivers.
And that's for all caregivers. This is actually a caregiver symposium. And is a parent a caregiver? Yes, because we take care of people. Almost everyone is a caregiver. But
A third of the adult.
a third of the adult population, but when you really understand the whole cause of stroke awareness, prevention, it's been something in the San Joaquin County that has been around for about 6 years right now, supported now by the county, and we're trying to bring it out to here and some other neighboring places. Can we count on you to get your help to help us get the word out? Can we?
Yeah.
You know, let's go ahead and give Mary Nicholson a round of applause for her effort. You know, and I just wanted to recognize some people that have given their heart to their passion. It's very important to do that because a lot of things that like Elias has done, Mary has done, it's taken a lot of effort. And Michael, you know what it takes to pull together what Elias is pulling together, right? You know, I've talked about it a little bit. I have to give it to you. And you know, when I talked to Elias, I really recognized the fact that, you know, he's done an incredible job really helping people be able to stay inspired and stay entertained, right? Now I want to go ahead and talk about our specific topic today. Let me ask you this. We're going to go on a quest. How many of you are ready to find and want to find your cash cow? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
How many of you want to find your cash cow? All right? Do you know what your cash cow is? That's something that pays you on a steady basis. All right? Let me ask you this. How many of you want to find your cash cow? Raise your hand.
Yes!
All right. Say yes.
Yes!
Yes. All right. This is very important to really acknowledge it. Because if you're not looking for it, guess what? You'll never find. You'll never find what you're not looking for. Does that make sense? Now, I tell you, I want to ask you, you know, I brought my cash cow here today. Did you bring your cash cow? Where's your cash cow? Don't say the person that you brought the cash cow, okay? But the whole thing is that, you know, in all sincerity, this is something that is very important. I think especially in this economy. There is so much going on in the economy. Wouldn't you agree? We've got some big hits. Oh, yeah. I'm from this place called what? Stockton. How many of you have heard of Stockton?
Oh, yeah.
The exciting thing is that Stockton is nationally recognized.
Yeah.
We are popular. Now, the thing is, when we think about Stockton, what do we usually think about? All right, bankruptcy, crime, all that thing. All right, I tell everyone, I told Michael, I told some of the people here, I live in the part of Stockton, we only hear about the gunfire, we don't get shot directly out, right? No, but in all sincerity, I would like to dispel the myth that Stockton is completely a dangerous place, all right? Because I've actually had people show that. And believe it or not, there are places where you can find cash cows there. Now, when you think about your cash cow, right now in the economy today, it's very interesting Because would we agree that there are challenges in the economy today? We do, right? Sure. Yeah. It's hard. And Stockton double that effort, okay? And we're making up for the economy in Stockton because we say, you buy a ham in November, right, for Thanksgiving, we'll give you a home, right? All right. No, just kidding for all your real estate. No, that's not true. Actually, the creative real estate investor, Joanna, right? She can tell you actually the economy is actually booming there in terms of real estate. Real estate's hard to find, isn't it, Joanna?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, the supply is really tough there. But what I want you to do is really think about what you do currently. Do you really enjoy it? And one thing that has happened is very interesting in the economy. I think it's really made me evaluate personally, just what is really important. And when I think about this whole concept of really living the American dream, right? I feel like just in my past I've had great opportunities to do some really fun things. I've actually had a software company of over 10 years that was, pretty successful. I actually had a chance to work in the technology field as a consultant for many years. And I've had great opportunities to be able to interface with a lot of people, like with the incredible chamber that I'm part of. I get to really have influence and really help a couple of ethnic chambers. And also with Feelings of Motion, what a great cause to help people learn about things that really matter, right? So really, it's not just about the money anymore we're concerned about, it's what it is. It's about us feeling good and great about what we're doing. Wouldn't we agree? It goes beyond that. And somewhere along the way, as you're looking for the cash cow, guess what? Is it under the table? Look at the person next to you right now. Is it that person next to you? Maybe that person's your cash cow, right? And if you're in network marketing, that person may be your cash cow, right? All right, you understand that? Those of us that are in front of direct sales. And at the same time, there's only one place I believe you can see and find the cash cow. Where do you think that is? In the mirror. Because really, when you think of the cash cow, it has to resonate. Something within you needs to resonate. It needs to be about definitely opportunity that's out there. But it needs about your purpose, really pulling those two things together. Because it does matter. It does matter what you do in this economy. Okay? How many of you are in direct sales? I just want to make sure. Okay? All right, raise your hand up high. I just want to make sure, okay. How many of you are in some sort of corporate job? Okay, no one here, okay. W-2 job? Anyone? Okay. Most of us are 1099. Okay, I can go ahead and really position it as such. But one thing to really think about is the fact that there is a saying that is really getting a lot of attention today. If you really never want to work another day, and you really know that you want your income to still flow, right? What you gotta do is find something you know and are passionate about. So today's economy is really about merging and blending something that can generate an income with what you are truly about, your essence and what you're passionate about. Wouldn't you agree? Now there's a lot of options out there, and I know it sounds kind of funny, but when you take a good look in the mirror, sometimes, depending on when you get up, you may like what you see, you may not like what you see. But the whole thing about this is really thinking every single morning about the things that are most important. How many of you think in the morning about the goals and the things you want to achieve during the day? Okay? All right. And you don't have to raise your hands, but I know a lot of you didn't raise your hand. Maybe I wasn't clear on that. But I really hope that you really think about that each and every day, because I'll tell you, time is precious. But this whole concept I'm finding out really about merging purpose and generating income is really very, very key. Because every time you look in the mirror, you take a good look in the mirror, guess what? That is your cash cow. You determine your fate. And the exciting thing is, when you go ahead and start doing what you love, there's some things that are pretty incredible. The first thing is, you just have a lot of energy. Wouldn't you agree? When you're passionate about something, you just have an energy about you that just doesn't quit. The second thing is that you are willing to do not just the bare minimum, but way above and beyond. Like I know, Tame, you have that whole mission about letting the whole world have education for free. I'm all for that, right? Does that drive you?
Yes, it does.
Does it make you tired when you think about that?
Absolutely.
Are you willing to work real hard for that to happen?
I'm not working hard, I'm smart about it.
There you go, even better for those of us that are able, you know? But the whole thing about really being able to think about the thing you love can make a complete difference in terms of how you come across to people and just your whole attitude about work. Because it's really a mindset that you need to start to generate. And really the whole thing about really having the right attitude, you become a magnet. You start drawing and you really start getting referrals that just kind of come out of nowhere. Don't you agree? Have any of you experienced that? And it is something, when your mindset is right, you attract that. If your mindset is wrong, guess what you also do? You attract that. And so I guarantee you, if you go ahead and look in the mirror and you give yourself a big smile, don't take yourself too seriously. And if you have a little bit of a skin blemish, you can see Carol, of course, right? But the whole thing is that, do you notice smiling? Go ahead and smile, everybody. Look to the person next to you. Go ahead and give a big smile. All right? All right. Now, go ahead and do a frown. Do a frown.
I can't.
All right. Take a look at the person. All right. Do you realize that the frowning actually takes scientifically more effort to frown than it does to smile? So if we're going to live our life, we might as well let it flow and just smile. And there was a campaign that I really wanted to start just to say hi. But unfortunately, that whole campaign was already taken. So I thought, just say hi and smile, right? And my whole concept was, it's easy. Can everyone smile?
Yes.
Can everyone go ahead and look at somebody and just give a cheery, cheery smile and say hi? Say hi to the person next to you. Hi. Is that difficult? Okay. Now, let me tell you, and that simple gesture of doing this every single day, and think about the people you don't know. How many of you get intimidated when you're running into some people? You get intimidated sometimes, right? But the whole thing is just to go and say hi to somebody. Just smile and say hi. You know, make it a goal if you don't have it. You know, just to make sure that that is consistently who you are. And I guarantee everything that you do when you work, when you get up in the morning, you take a look in the mirror, you give yourself a big smile. You know, don't take yourself too seriously. And if you have a blemish, who do you call? Carol. All right. Just want to make sure you do that. Won't charge you for that. But the whole thing is to really enjoy doing work. But to really bring together who you are, because there's also an aspect of it. I'm very community oriented. How many of you are community oriented? Okay, how many of you know where I'm going with this point? When you're community oriented, is your attitude focused on money? No. We start doing a lot of things. I've done a lot of great work. You know, all my stuff for Healings in Motion is volunteer. On the different committees, it's volunteer. And I think I'm just so thankful because I really believe that I get more than I give. But what I realize is that there's something missing if I keep doing community work and I really don't represent my business, or if I really don't put it together to be able to generate income in my business. What eventually happens?
The car needs to drive on this.
That's right. The car needs to drive. And most that's really true. But the whole thing is that, you know, when you go ahead and think about what you do, one of the key things is really think about the passion. Are you passionate about it? Now, many of us are in direct sales, so I'm going to talk more to that. Is that okay? There are a lot of different ways to generate income, right? In today's day and age, honestly, some of us are very fortunate if we have one good steady stream of income. I've been very fortunate. I'm in the financial solutions arena, and it's been very fortunate to be able to help people because I really get a lot of satisfaction out of helping people establish their goals and dreams, and then helping them, fulfilling them, and building infrastructure around that. And guess what it always usually includes, the infrastructure. What does it include, Seth?
Money.
Money, okay? So that's how business will come. Is it okay if I really help somebody create a great financial plan? but I might get paid for that. That's okay. Now, on the other hand, it can be challenging. You know, I've been fortunate through pretty much the majority of my years working. I've always made over 6 figures. But I've also had an opportunity in direct sales. I had a chance for a client to be able to represent a certain product, and in that one product, in about 9 or 10 months, I was able to generate quite a bit of money and about 1,400 people in an organization. Is that pretty good? Yes. That's pretty good. But that was by accident. It was in skincare, okay? Most of you know me, I like soap and water, and I'm good. But the whole thing is that really, I really understood it, and I believed in it, and it helped me learn about that whole arena. And I realize in today's economy, sometimes people are looking for different alternative ways to make money. Isn't that true? So whether you have one way or 2 ways, this is something really thinking about. But really making sure you bring into alignment who you are with the money you want to make. Because if you just really strive to just get the money, you're not in alignment with yourself. There is no satisfaction in that, right? And we have a couple different things to consider. First thing to really consider are just the different options that you have when you go ahead and think about, generating income. How many of you, I asked this question, I don't think there's anyone here that's W-2, right? Okay. What is a W-2, what does a W-2 signify? Yeah, you have a job, a J-O-B, right? Okay. Now, what are the benefits of having a job? All right, you have a steady, predictable income, right? What is your sacrifice? Time, okay? So you really have to weigh that out. And a lot of times when we think of a job, oh man, I don't really want to expend all this time, working on the job. I want my freedom. But one of the problems with that is that in this economy, do you think people are happy just to have a job? Yes. A lot of people are very happy. It has stability, it has predictability, but you do give up your time. And there is a reality in a lot of professions, you will never make 6 figures. You'll definitely never make 200,000. Isn't that true? Yes. So that's the trade-off. But I respect people's jobs because they're feeding their families or feeding themselves. That creates a steady flow of income, right? And so I just want to share with you about a couple of different options. Now, outside of the W-2, what's the other part called? A 1099, all right? So we know about all the great analogies of the J-O-B. What is the J-O-B, right? That's the journey of the broke, jumping out of bed, right? Just over broke. And we really jest about that because it is true, because we're going for that Hail Mary, right? And you have a chance to make a lot of money on us in a lot of these direct sales companies. And if you're really fortunate, you can, make your 15th car. That's pretty nice to get your car paid for, isn't it? And the whole thing is that when you think about the 1099 thing, well, most of us are self-employed, right? There's a lot of write-off advantages, and there is a potential for you to make a lot of money. That can make you a great cash cow. I know people as recently as just 2 months ago that are now making about $25,000 to $30,000 a month in a direct sales company. Is that pretty good? That's wonderful. I said, I wish it would be. But the whole thing is that I will tell you, the guy was very dedicated and it took a lot of hard work. Now, when we go ahead and take a look at that, which one is right for you? I know many of us are at a 1099 because we choose to be independent. Is that true? And I also probably know that if somebody came and offered us a job, something steady, that would be something that we would consider. That's probably true as well. Which one is right for you? The answer is yes. Because it's not just about a 1099 or a JOB. And I will tell you, there's a lot of people on the job that are in the Bay Area that are friends of mine. They could stop working and still live for the next year without a hiccup. That's a pretty good security that they built for themselves, right? But I want you to really think about that. And I want to break some myths that you have to be just on a 1099. But to really consider what is the best advantage for you to build that stability. And that may be a different way of thinking because you do have to surrender something when you do that. What do you have to surrender? Your what? Your time. But I realize that unless I have a lot of reserve, I need to consider options that really make sense for me. And there's no shame. There is no shame. And I want you to really think about, establishing your cash cow, but also creating some stability and security along the way. Does that make sense? And so, many of you are in the direct sales arena, so I'm just going to address this very briefly. There's a lot of great opportunities out there, right? And when we think of a cash cow, do we want a big or a small cash cow? We want a big. That doesn't mean eat more and then look in the mirror and you're bigger, okay? But really, what it means is that you're really looking for great opportunity. There are a lot of great opportunities out there. And I will tell you a few secrets. And these are things that you might consider because they're very important that you understand, especially if you're going to go into the direct sales arena. When you go to a presentation, everything is really strategically earmarked. I've talked to hundreds of people, listened without being defensive, and just learned from their system. Is that pretty good? Because now I have a base of knowledge. It's like playing chess. The more you play, to see where the moves go. And I'm actually under NDA for 3 different products that are in the direct sales arena. Just for whatever reason, I just feel blessed that, that they've recognized I've done something there. I'm really involved in the community, so I'm usually one of the first people they call for whatever reason, okay? I don't join that many things, but I do try a lot of products. I'll support a friend. But one of the secrets, you want to know some of the secrets that they have? Okay, when a new company comes out, right, there's a mystique that they have about the whole new company, right? And usually they will tell you it's grown by this amount of people, right? Does that make sense? When a new company comes out, this product is huge, they've gained a lot of momentum. But you know why that is? Because a lot of times they've established a lot of network marketers that have come into that company, and what do the network marketers do on the top end? What do? They start recruiting and bringing in their downlines, right? And so there is a myth, and this is just one thing I want to hit on in the direct sales arena. There is a myth that you need to stay focused on only one thing. I do believe that principle, but within reason. Because I can guarantee you, a lot of people with big downlines, did they build it by joining one company and only staying with one company? Nope. I tell you, some of my friends in the direct sales, which bless their hearts, this is their arena, they have gone, just this year alone, I tell you, I'm no kidding, between 3 people, I've been presented with over 20 different opportunities. From the same people that said, I want to stay focused on this one. This one's got to be the one, right? But then guess what? Oh, but wait, here's another one. I just got a text message about a new one. And I go, wait, what about this one? You know what I'm talking about, right, Michael? And there is a reality to that. Does that mean that you can't make it? No, absolutely not. I am not here to make any judgment on anyone's possibility to make it in any company. Absolutely not. Is it likely? No. Only about 2% of the people will really make it to any significant level, and the vast majority will never make their money back. And you just have to test yourself. I'm not here to pass judgment. I'm just here to state facts, talk to many people. And this is just one thing I want you to consider when you join a company. Now, the whole thing is, how many of you like it when somebody calls you and really starts to want you to get into an opportunity?
That's called being pitched.
Being pitched, right?
Yeah.
Right. Now, here's the thing. They don't want you to just go on a monthly subscription, even though we need that auto ship, which is fine. But they want you to buy the big package, right? Because the bigger the package you get, the more fast start bonus you get, right? And so, if you really look at the pattern of the network marketing arena, you'll really see a lot of these patterns. And you need to know that unless you have a strategy, unless you are strategic about it, you will probably not reach that top rank. Because, well, you could recruit somebody that could do some great things in your organization, true? Well, I will tell you, those people are probably already talked to, or they're going to go with somebody that is also a leader already in that organization. It's just a true statement, all right? Like it or not. And so, I really do, and this is not to, Mary Kay is a product that, that a lot of people sell, and we all know that. All women use makeup, right? So the whole thing is that really think about something great. I think things in the health and wellness doTERRA is an incredible product. That was one that I actually followed this other person with, and I believe that because of the healthcare efficacy, we actually had Caroline Guest who promotes that product. She's Mrs. Utah 2011. She used to support us down here, and she actually came and spoke at a Healing in Motion event as well. So there's a lot of great companies, but I really want you to just evaluate whatever you choose to do and make sure there's efficacy. Does that make sense? Because one of the things that you want to really, really ensure is that you're really set up for success. And, I hope this is helpful because there are so many direct sales companies out there. I really like to see people set up for success. And so I hope you really take this to heart and just sit down, listen to what people have to say. It doesn't even make sense to me when people say, oh, I'm selling my product, but I don't want to do anything. I don't want to listen to you because I'm only selling my product. Well, what do they communicate? What are they going to try? Everyone's going to say the same thing to them probably too, right? But really learning about the whole industry and really having a strategy, that is something that's very important, especially in this economy. And if you are doing it for the income, by the way, because again, there is a statement out there that says, would you like to have 1% of 100 people's efforts or 100% of your own? What's the answer? What is it? 1% of 100. 1% of 100 people. Michael, would you rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts or 100% of your own? Why? You've actually got the right answer in my mind. Why?
Because you gotta have a plan. If you got a plan, you got a strategy.
Yep.
Then 100% of your effort every day is gonna take you one week.
Yeah. But here's the thing, you can measure it. Can I control my effort? I'm an extremely hard worker. I'm a very ethical worker. I will do what I need to do 110%. But I will tell you, there's about 98% of people that won't do it, and all my efforts will get diffused to them. I definitely want 100% of my own. All right? So really evaluate and think of the question. And really think about what opportunities right for you. And I'd love to talk to any of you about this because I've really spent a lot of time talking to a lot of network marketers because this is a very important arena to understand how to really progress. You know, and there's just two things that I want to mention that I mentioned to people. Do you love the name of your company or do you love why you're doing it? Those are two different things. Because I'm representing company X, and somebody presents an incredible solution that will cure cancer, you're still going to go back to X all the time because you love the company name, right? You love the culture. And it's something to really think about because don't be committed to the product, be committed to the solution. Does that make sense? And I hope when you think about that, that aligns with your purpose because I will tell you, nothing is more difficult than to have to say no to your friends. And many of you know what I mean. If you become a network marketer, all right, a true network marketer, and you're just jumping from thing to thing, you join the NFL club. You know what the NFL club is?
No friends left.
No friends left, that's right. So you got to be really careful with that. And then you start feeling bad, and then you can't align yourself to go after your mission of establishing your own cash cow. So take a good look in the mirror. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you, a lot of people really fail because they failed to plan. You probably heard that in financial planning. Now, where's Julie? She does, okay, yeah, great. She does Medicare, right? Does that take planning? Yes. That takes a lot of planning. You cannot, even if I told her, hey, go call this person that's 70, can you go write her up? Can you do that? Can you go talk to her? You can talk to her, but what does she have to do first? She has to initiate from you first, with you first, as a senior. There's a lot of planning in everything you do. When you're selling any product, it's no different. A lot of people are comparing making $100,000, working 40 to 60 hours or more a day, and you go into the direct sales and you say, I'm going to go have a few meetings, and I'm going to buy some friends. That didn't work. I didn't make my $20,000 or whatever, right? It's still hard work, and I can guarantee you, the people in the network marketing world will work a lot harder than the people on the predictable job initially. The payoff can be there, but you need to understand the reality of that. And there are some signs, there are definitely some signs, whether you work as a W-2 or a 1099, that you need to be aware of, that are real indicators that you might need a plan, okay? You might need a plan, or in the S4L or Solutions for Life community, we're calling it the roadmap to success. You might need to develop one of those if on a couple conditions happen. One is that you feel really stressed, all right? And when you go ahead and think about the economy, how many of you honestly can raise your hand and say, I don't have any stress?
Michael Estes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I believe him. He's pretty down to earth. Now, how many of you feel a lot of stress?
Somewhat.
Okay? You might need a plan if that's the case. The second thing is that you know, you realize that you really don't have any time, or you really haven't been able to take an honest, decent vacation, or really just hang out and just have a great time. That could also be an indicator that you need a plan. And one thing that I really think about is also the whole thing about balance. You know, sometimes there is that fear. What if I start doing this? You know, is my life going to go out of balance? I mean, I'm not going to be able to do all the things that I am currently doing now. Or if you plan for it, there is a thing called delayed gratification, where you might be making sacrifices today to be able to really benefit tomorrow. And so, if you have any of those signs, and the final sign I would say is really having a purpose and dream, but not really seeing it anymore. And I will tell you, in the financial world where I'm actually sitting together with people, and I've shared with some of you, I've been very excited about reconstructing some things. Because what happened was, we go down, we say, okay, how much do you need to live on, right? All that exciting stuff, the numbers, right? And then you got to say, what's your number for the day, right? Does that make sense? Because how much do you have to save per month to be able to live a certain way later, right? Because it will involve numbers if you're dealing with how to plan for the future. Does that make sense? Now, the whole thing is that it's pretty interesting, because in flipping this around a little bit, I've been spending most of my time not even talking about numbers, just talking about people's dreams, and just, what do you dream about? What is your life all about, right? And you know what I'm finding? I'm finding in most of the cases, I would say definitely more than 50%, a lot of people have lost their dream. Even a couple of times, even recently, 3 days ago, I was talking to somebody, I said, well, what keeps you from reaching out or obtaining that dream? The person just broke down and cried. And I really understood, even for myself, that there are a lot of things that I need to sort out in terms of where I want to go, where I want to be, and really have a great plan. And so, you know, I really want to think about your life, and one thing I really encourage you to do, I really realize that through all the course of life, I have great friends, I have great mentors that help me, even with putting some of the things together from a speaking point of view. I have friends I consult, but definitely in a life situation, I've gone through some major challenges over the last year. Some of you know about it. It's been hard. It's been difficult. But I've been thankful to have friends that have been there to help coach me and mentor me. Because I'm not the coaching type by nature, but I realize everyone needs a coach. Everyone needs some help. And no matter who you are, I hope you have somebody you really pair up with, and a group of people, or I'm trying to form a collaborative. It's all selfishly motivated. If you're all giving people when I'm around you, guess what? I get given too, right? No, but it's all creating a positive force in the economy. So I really encourage you to think about your purpose, your cause, your life dream. Get it reestablished and align it with what you're doing. And really think out of the box. Think pro. Go pro in what you do. Whatever you choose to do. If you go and you market a product, do it with the best of your heart. Just make sure you believe in it and it aligns with who you are. Now here's the real key. Don't go after just the money. That has to be a part of the planning. But you know what you go after? You go after the solution of what you're trying to provide. Does that make sense? All right, you got to make sure you make enough money. And over here, I actually have a page. I'd like your feedback on it. My friend and I, Catherine Gordon, many of you know her. She is an incredible transformational coach. She does some very high-level stuff, all right? We actually are creating some mapping sessions for people. We are charging, and yes, we do get paid, and yes, we have had several clients just over the last couple months. I would encourage you to take a good look at that, and if you're interested in having a session with us, please let us know. Because it's one that I will tell you, she's helped me a lot on a personal level, but just the whole concept of having a plan is so key to everything we do. Don't we agree?
Yes.
And I'll tell you, Alan Lincoln said it best. Because what he said, and I want you to think about this, I want you to think about your life as we end here. Do you have any regrets? Do you have any things that are shoulda, woulda, couldas? I do. I absolutely do. And I'll tell you, with a little bit of planning, things could have changed. Because things are much harder to get them back where they need to be if you don't just consistently do it, right? Like for me, I need to go on a diet, okay? That's a good thought, but it's a lot more challenging for me because I haven't maintained it. But Alan Lincoln said, and I want you to think about your life, all your great dreams that you have. He said, here's what planning is. Planning is taking the future, bringing it into the present, and doing something about it now. Because now you have time to plan. Okay? So I want to thank you so much. I hope this helps you. And thank you, Elias and GNA, for letting me speak.
That was great. Thank you, Jim. And please make sure, you want everybody to fill these out, right,
Yes, please.
Jim?
Yes.
So everybody, please take some time to fill this out for us. And what we want you to do, I found you some information online that I really like. Rick had mentioned the one-on-one. Rick likes doing one-on-ones, right?